Hey everybody, John R2 here and welcome back to Star Citizen. Today we're here on New Babbage for the final day of the IAE, Day 9, MISC, Musashi Industrial Starflight Concern. Let's go check it out. Stay tuned. All right, welcome to Day 9 of the IAE, MISC, Musashi Industrial Starflight and Concern. All right, MISC is known for making industrial ships with a retro-futuristic aesthetic, meaning very bubbly, kind of like 1950s and 60s rocket-looking ships. They also have the best views in the game, as well as the worst views in the game from the cockpit, and we'll talk about that in a minute. All right, so first let's go talk about the Prospector. I absolutely love this ship. I think it has a great look to it. You can clearly see the cockpit view is amazing. This is a one-person ship, so you can fly the ship and operate the mining beam all from the same seat. The lights are kind of cool here. And when you go inside, there's actually a small living quarters for one person. You have a toilet shower, you've got a bed, and a small kitchen area. A couple small size 1 weapons. These droppable ore containing bags for the ore that you collect, and you have VTOL on the engines. Overall, I just really love this ship. It's $155 with real-world cash. I recommend just earning this in game, or at least renting it in game and seeing if you like it before you can even consider buying it. But for 150 bucks, I think there are a lot better ships that you can purchase with IRL money. All right, moving over here, we have the Razors. These are the racing ships released by MISC. I don't think they fit the aesthetic of MISC, other than maybe these thrusters back here, but I do think they're very cool ships. They look very much like F1 racers if they were turned into spaceships. We have the stealth version here, which is the EX. I think this is the most interesting. A small stealth single-person ship could be useful in a number of situations. You have the luxury version here, which goes faster in a straight line but has a little bit less maneuverability. And then you have the standard version here, which has better maneuverability than the LX. Now, these are very small, can fit in a variety of ships. Well, once again, I don't think the value per dollar is good to purchase these with real-world money. All right, moving on. We have the Starfarer Gemini. There are actually two variants of the Starfarer. The standard Starfarer, which is a silver metallic color, and the Gemini, which is made in conjunction with Aegis. This is made to be a military refueler. The Gemini has better armor, has replaced the front fuel scoop with more missiles, has a larger top turret. So the Starfarer series are refueling ships that are made to collect gases, and using these refineries, at least we think these are the refineries, these two large cylinders here on the back. I believe it is too, because it says RT, refinery tank 1 and 2. You can refine those fuels into usable hydrogen fuel. And one of the last not IAEs, but Inside Star Citizens that we watched, they actually said that we could refine quantum or quantanium into quantum fuel, but the Starfarer cannot gather the quantanium itself. You might have to have a rock or a Prospector or something else do that. Then these 6 storage pods back here store liquid fuel that you can then use a boom arm that would mount here to fuel other vehicles with. So it is a fuel refinery / fuel refueler. And it flies horribly, but you wouldn't expect it to fly well. The cockpit view is horrible, but the weaponry for the pilot is quite good. You have 4 gimbaled size 4s. Another thing is, if you go into the interior of this ship, this is one of the first large ships that came into the game. The interior is just a mess. You will get lost. It doesn't make much sense. It was designed to be an FPS level. I wholeheartedly believe that interior should get a small rework, and this cockpit view is just mess. Like, I can't stand it. But that being said, I still think I'm going to add this ship to my fleet this IAE, because I have a fleet of a bunch of large ships. And I feel like those large ships would benefit greatly from a refueler. All right, let's go on down. Let's look at concept ships. Oh yeah, the Starfarer is 300 bucks, and the Starfarer Gemini, that version there, is 340. I do think they are good value, so if you're interested in adding a refueler to your fleet, feel free to pick one of those up. The price has increased on those from concept, but still I think they're pretty competitive considering what else you can get for around those prices. I mean, a Redeemer is $15 less than that. All right, so what do we got? All right, the new ship from MISC. This is a capital exploration ship from MISC, and I know it's new, but I think I'm in love. All right, so this is the MISC Odyssey. This is a exploration ship with capital shields. It has a extra small hangar, or maybe a small hangar. I'll have to look and see. I think it's an extra small hangar. And you have a mining cockpit with mining laser underneath the front. There's a refinery inside, a med bay. There's a vehicle bay / cargo storage. There's a lot to like about this ship. Capital shields are one of the main things that interest me about it. And it looks like you have roll-on, roll-off cargo as well. Looks like to be a ramp there. And I think there's a ramp in the front as well. Maybe not. I don't know. Brand new ship just came out in concept. I am interested in it. It is high. It's $700 credit, and I think it's like $625 war bond. But I do have some CCU vouchers I can use to kind of get this for about 300 bucks, so I may end up doing that. All right, moving on. We've got the Endeavor. I also own this ship because the Endeavor at 350 bucks is probably the best value in the game right now if you have 350 bucks burning a hole in your pocket or $350 worth of credit burning a hole in your digital wallet. And the reason for it, this is a capital ship with a detachable, heavily armored Explorer cab on the front. That's this section here all the way to the front. And it is fully modular. You can make this into a hospital, a science lab, a observation post, Large Hadron Collider, a farming area. I mean, the sky's the limits as to what you want to do with this ship. It cannot land. Maybe the front Explorer cab can, but the ship itself cannot land. It is a gigantic, basically a space station. So definitely a cool ship. Definitely look into that if you're interested in getting an Endeavor. Now it's probably one of your final chances to get it at that price. I see the price of that skyrocketing before too long, much like the Banu Merchantman. All right, which one is this one? Is this the Hull A? Yes, MISC Hull A. And it looks like they've actually put standard cargo units on this now and given us a new holo model. All right, so Hull A is one of the best ships that you can get. I would actually say the Hull B is probably one of the best starter ships you can get for just mass cargo transport. The Hull A and the Hull B, as far as I know, are both scheduled to be able to land on the ground, even while fully laden with this external cargo. And then when you don't have the cargo, this center spine section collapses and the ship collapses together to form a much smaller profile overall. That's the Hull A. Which one's here? This looks like the Hull C, maybe? Yes, this is the Hull C. So the Hull C, as you can tell, cannot land while laden with cargo. It is a lot bigger and is now 350 bucks. It used to be 250. And I want to say it carries, last we heard, around 3,000 or so cargo. So even for that price is still good. But external cargo, I don't know about that. I don't know if I'm interested in carrying external cargo. But if you are, definitely look into the Hull series. There's the Hull A, the Hull B, the Hull C, the Hull D, and then the largest would be the Hull E. I believe the Hull D and E are both classified as capital ships. I think the Hull C is meant to be the most common ship in the verse. That'll be your standard cargo hauler that you normally see. All right, let's head up and check out the other two halls. We should have a hall full of freelancers, and then there's probably a hall that's full of Reliance. Let's go check them out. There may be the standard Starfarer somewhere too. But yeah, Odyssey. Super excited about that ship. I'm worried about the cockpit view because, well, it's a MISC ship. It looks like a mail slot. But depending on how close you can get to that mail slot, if you can set closely to it, it wouldn't be a bad view. The problem with the Freelancer and even the Starfarer there is you have a large dash in front of you when you're setting down that basically pulls you away from that mail slot view and severely limits your vertical view. All right, let's go into hull number 2 here. What do we got in 2? Yeah, these are the Reliance. My Argo Raft rental expires. Okay, so the Reliant series of ships. I both love and hate these ships. I love the aesthetics. I absolutely adore the cockpit view. Look at this. 100%, like you are just setting, floating with full view all around, vertically and horizontally. Here, if we move this way, maybe we can see, there you go. You can see inside there. What I despise about this ship is when you take off and go into flight mode, this whole section rotates vertically and your chairs rotate to where the bottoms of the chairs are facing downward. And I hate that because it locks you from the rear section and just adds a lot more stuff that you have to do. Because like when you quantum travel, it makes you rotate vertically and now you're locked out of the rear of your ship. So don't really care for that. Overall, though, I think a lot of them are pretty cool ships and a good value. This is the Mako. As you can see here, there is a camera here. This is a newscaster ship. This is meant to go film races and battles and whatnot, and in the game, transmit and comment on what you view. Can we open this up? It says ramp access, but it doesn't appear to want us to open it. All right, that's enough trying. All right. This is the Sin. This one's also interesting. This one has a sensor pod here. This is a science version of the MISC Reliant. And there's actually a little science station in the back. You got a couple bunks. Pretty cool. This one makes a lot of sense to me too because it offers something that no other ship this size offers, and that's science, as well as this one with the newscasting. Going down to the center here, we have the MISC. I believe this is the Base Reliant. No, this is the Tana. The Tana, for me, is one of the most interesting. This is the combat variant. You can actually put quite a bit of firepower on here, and it has bespoke missile pods with a surprising amount of missiles for a ship this size. And if you go in the back, you can see it actually has pretty cozy little living quarters. You've got 2 bunks, you've got storage, you've got weapon storage, you've got a latrine with shower, and you have, I believe it's 2 SCU or maybe 1 SCU of cargo. All right, I just wish they didn't have that rotating feature. That's the one thing I hate about these ships. Here is the standard Reliant, and this one does not have living quarters. This is the core. This is actually the one I would least recommend. The other 3, yeah, if you're interested in science, if you're interested in filmmaking, or if you're interested in combat, all 3 of those are great little ships. The core I don't recommend because you lose bed functionality, and you only have, I believe it's 8 SCU of cargo, which isn't a great amount back here. I would recommend, over the core, I would recommend an Avenger Titan, or even a 325A or a 315P. The Tana, on the other hand, is a beastly little gunship. If you're interested in gunship gameplay, this is the first step on that ladder, I would say. All right, let's move on to the Freelancer series. So we go from the best views in the game to the worst views in the game. And you'll see what I mean here in a second once we traverse this large gap here. I kind of wish they would have put them both on the same side here, but you know, maybe there wasn't enough room or enough slots to place vehicles. We can see the rear of the Gemini as we come back here. You see the 2 underslung turrets. I kind of like those turrets. They remind me of like tail gunner turrets on like a bombing ship, a bomber of some sort, B-52 or something like that. Right. Hopefully we don't pass out. 96 beats per minute, 97, 98. We might have to slow down just to take a a breather here. All right, we are almost complete with MISC Day. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in the Odyssey. Is that something you're going to pick up? Or if you're going to pick up any one of these other ships. Like I said, I'm probably going to get a Gemini and maybe an Odyssey. We'll have to see. And only because I have very deep discounts due to Redeemer CCUs as well as Carrack CCUs. I've got cheap Carrack CCUs from $350 that will give me $600 in value. So I can easily step up to that Odyssey. All right, Freelancer Series. I like the Freelancer Series. I hate the view. But the ships themselves are actually very good. This is the Freelancer Base. We'll see if we can get into the back here real quick. You've got a good amount of cargo, as you can see here. A useless tail turret. And then all of your components are located in a central area. And then as we come forward, does it work? Airlock? There we go. More cargo. A docking collar. Open up. And then we have here, we've got our latrine. All right, we've got our kitchenette. We have a console and 4 bunks. Now, I think this ship should be a 2-man ship. I think we should get rid of this seat and this seat, make the cockpit a little more easy to kind of get around, and I think we should get rid of these 2 bunks and kind of stretch out the living quarters and put like EVA chute storage and stuff like that. I think this ship is too small for 4 people. I think it'll be super crowded. I think something like a Constellation would be much better suited for more personnel. But that's just one man's opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments. What's good about the Freelancer series is you have 2 medium shields. You also have 4 size 3 gimbaled to the pilot's control. Decent amount of internal cargo, and it's not a bad ship. This is the Dur. The Dur sacrifices some of the cargo and gives you these external fuel pods as well as internal refineries to give you extended range. And then there's also a sensor suite on the front here to give you better sensors. So this is your exploration variant. Actually not a bad explorer ship. Then my favorite of the Freelancer series is the Max here. The Max gives you double the cargo, as you can see here, which allows you to fit more vehicles in this base, so you can actually use it for a greater variety of missions. And you really don't sacrifice anything other than it just costs more to get that greater cargo, and then you'll probably have a little bit less maneuverability once you're filled up with cargo. And then last but not least, you have the Freelancer MISC, which gives up some of its cargo space to get bespoke missile racks. This is your gun, well, not really a gunship, it is a missile boat. Let's go back here and see if we can see these missile launchers. I think it's like 42 missiles or something like that. An insane amount of missiles that you get. All right, let's pop this open. There you go. You can see them here. These are kind of like the magazines that lift up to the top and reload those missile launchers. Actually not a bad ship. You got a decent amount of cargo. You've got a lot of missiles to take out threats greater than yourself. You've got the 4 size 3s. This is also not a bad ship as well. If you're not a fan of the Vanguards, if you want something with a little more maneuverability, not maneuverability because this does not have better maneuverability, it's got worse, but more functionality, I should say, with the larger cargo bay, then the MISC actually isn't a bad option. Though for my money, I think the best value out of all the Freelancers is the Max here. Because you get much more cargo, the ability to load more ships, these bigger engines, not load more ships, load more vehicles, and these bigger engines. I just wish these Freelancers were 2-man ships and had more pleasantly arranged and designed living quarters on the inside. Okay, so that's going to do it for MISC Day. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're going to pick up. And thanks for watching. If you enjoy my content, please consider a like, a comment, and or a subscribe. Stay tuned for the next episode. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.